Okay, here we are, Colin. Week number 5, I think, of these things that we're doing that people seem
Yes.
to find entertaining, and I put my heart and soul in. However, I don't even know where to begin. I'm kind of surprised. I'm not kind of surprised. There's so much rhetoric around this whole thing. I mean, we don't. You want to start with the Steelers? Actually, can we start with something other than the Steelers?
Yeah, go ahead. Feel free.
I just have this crazy passion about the Denver Broncos that are coming to town and
Okay.
their head coach whining about
Oh,
Baltimore. I just want to talk about that.
I'm glad you said that because I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm glad you did. Do you want to hear my opinion first or do you want to give yours?
100%. Yes, I do. I want to hear
You
it.
know, my opinion on not just this issue, but in all of sports when it comes down to unwritten rules or anything like this, sports functions best. Period. End of story. Use this line in this credo with sports. If you have two coaches, right? You worry about your team, I'll worry about my team. End of story. And those two things really never need to intersect. If I coach my team this way, you don't worry about it. And you coach your team your way, and I don't worry about it. And they don't intersect, it runs swimmingly.
It's the I like that. I like that word. Yes, it does. And frankly, I actually have a really strong opinion on the Denver coach for that. I agree with what you just said, but I also agree that it's kind of cool to go ahead and have that record. They should have that record. They're not going to read about the coach that whined. They're going to read about who had the record, and I think that's an important thing.
I give Harbaugh a lot of credit because he didn't lie. He said, yes, we went after that record, and our guys wanted to. So I just, I don't understand. There are, you know what, they make a clock, Richard, and it counts down. And it counts down from 15 each quarter, 15 minutes. Well, there's a reason why there's a finite amount of time and it says zeros at the end. It's because, well, that's when it's over. So you're well within your rights to do whatever you want to do until it says zeros. Whether you want to put a knee on it, whether you want to run plays, whether you want to try to score touchdowns. I don't begrudge anybody who uses up all that time on the clock to do what they want to do.
I also didn't like the way he said it in his press conference. I didn't like that he said it was bullshit and that he expected it from them because there's about 3 different slams in that statement,
I know.
and I didn't like any of it. So really, the lead in that would be my lead in to we are going to kick their ass.
You think so? Oh, well, this is where you and I may diverge just a little bit. Uh,
Okay, let's go.
well, first of all, is Ben healthy or not? We don't know because it's going to be a secret all the way up until game time. Not a secret, but they're going to, try to get him healthy. Who knows if he's going to be healthy? Is it the regular bumps and bruises of being 39 years old and playing football? Is it something more so? Uh, the key for me is this. They're never going to manufacture an injury for Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think in full form. I don't think. But there is going to be a time where Ben Roethlisberger is going to decide stuff he used to play through is going to be too excruciating to play through anymore because he's 39 years old and the team isn't all that great anymore. And I wonder if we're getting closer. I just do.
Well, I think that's valid. I think it's a valid concern. It's a valid question. I will say this: it will depend on the quarterback. This game will depend on the quarterback. Whether that quarterback is Ben Roethlisberger, whether that quarterback is Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins, that's the play that matters. Because as I watched that game, and I never want to lay the blame on any one person, but I believe Ben Roethlisberger 5 years ago would have won that game. So to your point, yes, is that a question? Is it a rhetorical question or is it a real question? I think it's a real question. And I think that Ben would have won that game. And I also think that Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins would have won that game only because I saw really severely missed throws that were touchdown throws. They were game changers. They weren't
I agree.
maybe touchdowns. They weren't possibly touchdowns. They were game changers. And so, yes, I believe, and regardless of the reason, and maybe it was a hip flexor or something, with Ben's hip, I don't know, but you're right. Ben will start, as Mike Tomlin said, and as Ben said, he will start. But how long will he go on before he says, "Man"? Because he did say in his press conference the injury was pretty ugly, and it would have made you sick if you saw it.
No,
So
absolutely.
I don't know what
Absolutely.
that is, but I do believe Ben. And here's the other thing about Ben, and I can see this with myself. Sometimes you feel just as much pleasure in a mentor role, and so even if he can't play, to watch and help develop the other guys. And I don't know if Ben's got that gene, but there's a great satisfaction to watching and helping coach somebody else up to become a great performer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where it goes from here. I have one thing on the running game, and just we need to tell people here. Bazzy's Black and Gold Banter tickets for the Seattle game before we jump off here. Be sure to be listening for that code word in just a little while. One thing I want to bring up to you, and you were on this, right? I think it's hard to extract positives when you're 1-3. It is. But the continued growth of Najee Harris and him deciding to lower his head, drive forward, not necessarily needing to dance around and take what people give him. You watch that football game and you just don't put the score on the board. You don't put it on the television. You don't put even numbers or draft stock or anything on anybody's the back of them or know who they are. Najee Harris was one of the best football players on the field the other day. He was spectacular and is showing growth and is headed in the right direction.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I never doubted Najee in the draft. I don't doubt him now. I believe he has the ability to be one of the best running backs ever. I don't like when he does the hurdles. I don't like that because that's an imminent injury at some point. I'm not sure how I felt about Ben's comment telling him to run
Yeah.
big and to compare him to Jerome. I hope he doesn't take that advice because he's not Jerome Bettis. I mean, Jerome's a very good friend, excellent football player, but Najee's an athlete. Jerome is a bowling ball.
Well, Najee's not Jerome, and also Ben's not his coach.
Right. Good. That's a great point.
I think that other people know different things, and Najee Harris is a first round pick for a reason. I thought he showed for the first time to me that it's okay to not try to make 50 yards. It's okay to make 4. And he did that. And it was I thought he was really, really good. A lot of this stuff, man, you really surprised me going after that Denver coach, and I like it. I really do.
I'm going after him. I'm calling him out. I wish I was going to the game. I'd go down on the sideline, stand next to him, and tell him he's a you know what. No, I would go after him 100%. I think he's whining. When you go on a press conference, a national press conference, and you say, I think that was bullshit, and, it's to be expected from them. Man, that's right at his heart. That's a direct insult right to him. And, you got to have a thicker skin than that, but I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I'm going for the record. I want the record. I want the record to reflect. If the record didn't matter, we wouldn't count W's and L's. It matters. It all matters.
You think there's another thing to this? And you talked about Ben just a moment ago. Do you buy the excuse that the missed deep balls were because it was Juju and not Claypool, and they work better with Claypool? Or do you just buy the excuse, or is there no excuse and it was just a quarterback overthrowing someone? Because, maybe the truth's in the middle somewhere. I think a great quarterback, at least a very good quarterback, needs to connect on those throws. And I'm not excusing Ben. Believe me, I don't do that. But the more they talked about Claypool just missed practice on Thursday, they weren't able to prepare all that much for it. If it's Claypool, it may be different some. So I will buy it a little bit, but there's still throws the quarterback needs to make.
You're probably talking to the right guy, or the wrong guy, actually. No, I don't accept it. My kids grew up with 5 P's. The 5 P's. I'd ask them every day when I was driving them to school, what's the 5 P's? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And if that means instead of leaving the field at 6 o'clock, then you leave it at 8 o'clock. If something comes up, then you leave it at 9 o'clock. You do whatever it takes. When you're paid in that position to be a professional, 1,696 professional football players in this NFL league. Man, you better give 1,000,000%, which goes to me. And then, so we talk about then the offensive line.
Right.
I thought Ben did make a comment that they're starting to play together better. But then I wanted to ask you, because I don't know this. Who do we have? Didn't we just pick somebody up on the offensive line from another team? And in the same line, Taco, the guy,
Taco Charlton. Yeah.
How did he play? I didn't see.
They protected him on the practice squad. He's not activated yet. He will probably be activated in the next couple of weeks, one would think. I think I look at that linebacking core, and granted it's inside and not outside like Charlton. I'm still waiting for Devin Bush to change a game, Richard.
Yeah, me too.
They gave up so much to get to a point to draft him that you want splash and you want his name called all the time. And it's just where is the guy?
Yeah. And he started that way last year before he got hurt and the year before. I mean, yes, he was that guy. I don't see that guy right now. And I wonder, and sometimes, man, I shouldn't say it because I don't want him to come here and see me. But sometimes I watch him standing there watching tackles be made. And not that he avoids contact, because he doesn't, but I just want to see more aggressive. I want to see him take somebody's head off. That's what I want to see.
I want to see him in every pile. I want to see him around like a bee in a hive every time, and it's just not there.
I'm used to the Ryan Shazier. That's what I wanted. I loved Ryan Shazier. And to me, he represented everything that I talked about last week about the speed of the Dallas Cowboys and how they flew to the ball. When Ryan Shazier got here, man, he flew to the ball. And that started to set a whole trend. Devin did the same thing. I don't know what happens personally in people's personal lives, but it doesn't matter. You're on a football field, man, it changes. You become a whole different person. Go be it. I want to see more. I really want to see more from that defense. But like I told Mr. Narduzzi, the Pitt football coach last week, 170 points. I had to calculate that a couple different times. 170 points in 3 games, regardless of who they played. It's a lot of points.
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of points. And I said to Pat, the best, because people always say the best offense is a great defense. So I kind of flipped it and I said, Pat, to me, the greatest defense is a great offense. And he actually liked that a lot. But it really is. So you have a great offense, you keep the defense off of the field, right?
I absolutely agree with you.
Man, I'm going to talk forever. I don't want to do that. I'm telling you.
One more thing. Yes or no before we give these tickets away?
Yes.
Would you pay Minkah Fitzpatrick, not blockbuster money, but would you pay him money to keep him in a Steeler uniform from what you've seen right now, or do you need to see a lot more?
I need to see a lot more. I need to see a lot more. How about same question to you?
I would take the chance right now. I think he's putting too much pressure on himself in a contract year, playing and understanding, trying to play for that contract. I think that really good football player is still in there, but he's trying to do everything himself. I'd pay him and hope that he continues on that path to play the great that we've seen at times. I do think he'll be great again, but he needs to show it more. But I'd probably pay him.
Yeah, and you could probably convince me to do that, only because who's next man up? I mean, we don't really have a great next man up, and I think that he really can be that guy also. So I'd probably gamble on him a little bit. But some of that last year, his initial year with us, if it was last year, I don't even remember. But, some of that was circumstance, that his greatness became a result of circumstance. And, right now, and then, Mike Tomlin talks about splash plays. Listen, I've said it before. Mike Tomlin, the whole front office, all of them, Kevin, Omar, I love them, every one of them. So it's hard for me to say anything that would ever be construed as critical. But I am more of, I want to win every down. I really do. And that's just a difference in me as a coach. If I were a coach, I want to win every down. I don't care about splash plays. Let's get when they come and if they come, great. But I want to win every down, every snap, And when I do that, I'm running the ball down your throat. I'm picking you apart in the secondary or your linebackers, but I'm coming at you, and I'm not going to stop. And the splash plays are great, but it's pretty hard with that level of professional to create those splash plays. How many times do you really see a blocked kick?
You sound like Lombardi. You sound like you just said something they put on the back of T-shirts, like motivational practice shirts.
Well, I mean, hanging on my wall is Vince Lombardi. What it takes to be number one. What it takes to be number one. I live it. My father lived it. He pounded it into my head, literally. And if I came home and I had a B on my report card, and he'd look at me, a B might be good. That's what he'd say. B might be good. ... For somebody. You mean to tell me if you would have brought a book home, one more book every day, you couldn't have gotten an A? Of course, it would make me think about it, and I'd say, well, I guess I could have. And that's how it makes sense to me, and that's why I say, in a world of football preparation, when you have a receiver go down like Chase, and if you have to stay to get in sync, stay. There's no excuse for it. If it's Ben, throw more. If it's a receiver, get your timing better, and only do that by throwing. But here's the problem: Ben doesn't practice on Wednesdays, right?
Nope, not going to happen.
So maybe, yeah. So there you go. So proper preparation prevents poor performance always. Who do you like?
There it is. On that note, we'll give the tickets away in 1 second. We'll tell you who we like. Until the Steelers win, I can't pick the Steelers. I think that they'll lose by a field goal. Real close game.
Okay, I'm Steelers all the way, 100%.
There you go.
Steelers 100%. 100%.
This could be the game that snaps it. And
this is the game. And I hope somebody, if that happens, I want to go on the air next week and I want to laugh at, what's his name? The head coach in Denver?
Oh, Vic Fangio. Yes, laugh at him.
Yeah,
well, here's your chance to go to the Seattle game, right? This is a night game. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. Great game. Check it all out. Go to the Schultz Ford Instagram page and be sure to put in keyword. Are you ready? Code word, keyword, coffee, because of Seattle. Coffee, COFFEE. There you go.
Creative. That's pretty creative.
Not bad. Not bad. All right. You pick the Steelers. I pick the Denver Broncos, I guess.
Oh!
Just like that much. If the Steelers win, I'll start picking them a lot.
Oh, you fair weather fan.
But until next week, I guess it is, Richard, right?
Yes, it is. Here we
I'll
go.
See ya.